Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host, Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. Today we're going to be talking about air fresheners. So, people have been using natural products to cover odor and make their homes smell better for thousands of years.
No way.
And in fact, some of the first written language dating back to like 3000 BC, the Egyptians were writing down their formulas where they used musk, floral extracts, and different spices that they would use in their homes and in the tombs to make them smell better. And then it wasn't until the 1950s that companies started mass producing these chemicals they called air fresheners. But basically what they were doing is just coating the nasal passages with an oily film, and it blocks our ability to smell, and it deadens the nerve cells. So it has nothing to do with air freshening or killing the odors in the air. And then in the 1980s, most of these companies that were producing these aerosols had to stop because of some of the government regulations where the CFCs were damaging the ozone layer.
What is that?
So chlorofluorocarbons, it breaks down the ozone. And
Well, why are you saying it like I should know?
well, now you do. What's interesting is 75% of U.S. households use air fresheners.
Mm-hmm.
You know those little green trees that you hang up in your car? They're called car air fresheners or car freshener.
Yes.
They were invented like 60 years ago. This milkman was complaining to one of his customers, who was this Julius Salmon, about the smell of spilled milk. And, he just hated the smell of it. Julius happened to be a chemist who had just finished a whole project in Canada. He was extracting all these aromatic oils from pine. Mm-hmm. And so he sat down and thought, you know what? I think that people would really appreciate an air freshener. So he drew this weird little abstract shape of that tree that you see.
Right. And
so he just cut it out and he patented it. And then he used these pine oils and he created the first car freshener. And so he actually created the design, and he had the little rope and the cellophane wrapper so that you could pull it down a little at a time. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't all, the oils didn't all evaporate at the same time. Funny how things happen, isn't it?
Yep.
They have one of those hanging air fresheners that are shaped like Edgar Allan Poe. It has like his face, and it's shaped like his head. It's a hanging air freshener. You know what it smells like?
No.
Potpourri.
That's bad.
Odor is such complex chemistry. It wasn't until 2004 before they awarded a Nobel Prize that broke down the nature of smell and how humans sense odor.
So I don't understand anything you just said.
So scientists just didn't know, or they didn't understand how we sense like bad odors. Mm-hmm. And also the nature of what a bad odor is. And so a lot of these early air fresheners, all these companies did was just block our ability to smell, because they really didn't understand the nature of how the receptors work in our body. And so it wasn't until 2004 that they really started to understand how different odor molecules bind with receptors that lay in this layer of mucus in the nose. We have about 350 different types of receptors with like 50 million cells, and we can actually distinguish about 10,000 different smells. Mm-hmm. And what's wild about some smells, like methane, like when you turn on, like gas in our house, mm-hmm. it's odorless because we don't have any receptors to smell those molecules.
That's a design flaw.
Yeah, so that's why like the gas company will add,
right.
like a little sulfur smell to it, so that we can actually, in case you have a gas leak, which is really smart. So the problem with most conventional air fresheners are the chemicals they use. And according to the EPA, most of the store-bought air fresheners contain formaldehyde, petrochemicals, this P-dichlorobenzene, and phthalates. And phthalates is actually spelled P-H-T-H-A-L-A-T-E-S. That's a mouthful, but if you ever see that phthalate on a formula, it's really bad for your body.
Are you going to spell the other chemicals?
No. So the EPA classified formaldehyde as a possible carcinogen. These petrochemicals, they're used in pesticides, and they can cause breathing problems with a lot of people. In enclosed areas, they definitely can cause headaches and nausea. Mm-hmm. And then any of the benzenes, the CDC lists them as possible carcinogens. They cause eye irritation, liver disease, allergic reaction in people sensitive to it. And then these phthalates, they're used to dissolve and carry the fragrance. And the state of California lists 5 different types of these phthalates as known to cause birth defects and reproductive problems. So what's interesting is California and Washington actually banned the sale of any kids' toys containing these phthalates because they soften plastic. But the FDA has no regulations on the use of these phthalates yet because the first companies, these perfume companies, this was part of their proprietary formula, and they didn't want to give away their unique formulas, so there's a loophole that doesn't require companies to list each individual chemical. So when you see an air freshener that's labeled fragrance or fragrance oils or perfume oil, all of these can, and most of them do, contain these phthalates. OSHA classified these liquid petroleum gases on some of these products as an asphyxiant or a narcosis, which means that they can cause death or unconsciousness by suffocation. And these are used in a lot of the carpet deodorizers and these metered aerosol sprays. So you go in the bathroom, sometimes you see those sprays that are battery operated, and then once every, so often, they go off and spray some of this. Most of these have liquefied petroleum gas in them.
So it's going to kill you?
Like most of the stuff, you need to read the label. You need to make sure that you don't abuse them because some of these can be very dangerous in a confined room or if you breathe it in. In fact, some of the warnings on the MSDS, the Material Safety and Data Sheet on these chemicals, it's amazing the warnings that are on a lot of these air fresheners.
So what kind of air fresheners are we talking about here?
So this is a wide spectrum from air fresheners that you put into your car, sprays, gels. You really have to read the label. You have to look for some of these chemicals. You want to make sure that you're following the instructions. You don't want to abuse any of these and a lot of people, especially with asthma, are very sensitive to these chemicals. And for children or older people, it can actually be dangerous.
So what are some safer air fresheners that we could use in our homes?
So there's a couple different philosophies. One is if you want to change the smell of your house. A lot of people, you have a scent signature. So when you walk in somebody's home, it has kind of a unique smell. A lot of people, what they do is they change the feel of their house just by using natural products. In fact, one popular recipe is taking 4 sprigs of fresh rosemary, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a sliced lemon, and you mash this all together and then you put it out in bowls around the house. And this actually gives off a really nice scent, which it kind of sticks to everything in your house. And so once a week or once every couple weeks you change this out, and it can actually change the smell of your house when you walk into your home.
Does it smell good?
Yes. Yes, that's the popular one. So then you can do a lot of different things. Again, now we're just talking about, my house smells better. You can cut up fruit. A lot of people say that you can cut up, like when apples get soft, you can cut those up and boil them in water with some spices, and that gives off a really nice smell rather than just throwing those apples out. So you can cut up food, you can add spices, herbs, and then you boil it. You bring it to a boil, and then you let it simmer for 30 to 60 minutes. And a lot of these home experts say that if you did this once a week, it actually gives your home a unique smell. Another one they said is popular is a tablespoonful of coconut extract and 1 sliced up lime, and you put that into a bowl in a couple areas of the house. One natural candle that they say actually does a good job of kind of masking and binding to odors in the house is burning beeswax candles. They say that's popular. It's all natural. And then, a couple sites were talking about these pure essential oils. So you have to make sure they're not synthetic because some of the synthetic oils actually have some health risks associated with it, just like some of the air fresheners. So if you're looking to, bring a fragrance into the home and you want to use some of these oils, you need to make sure that you're looking for an all-natural, pure, essential oil. And then what's interesting is coffee, they say really it has a wonderful smell and it masks a lot of other odors, especially like around your garbage cans and things. And so I found out that some of the Starbucks, they'll give you all their coffee grounds for free. So if you go into your local Starbucks and you say, hey, can I get some of your coffee grinds? A lot of them will give them to you.
And what do you do with them?
So you would take your coffee grounds and you would put them into the bottom of your garbage cans, like the garbage can in your house, and you'd put your liner over it, and that absorbs and masks a lot of garbage smell. You can also put it into a little bowl or a dish and put it around the house. And most people prefer that to most other smells around the house. So that's a tip for smells.
So did you ever answer my question about safer products?
So one of the safe products you can use around the house is baking soda, and it reacts with anything slightly acidic to neutralize it. So a lot of the odors that we consider bad smelling have acidic properties, and then baking soda, it has a very large surface area, it bonds with this, and it actually neutralizes a lot of these odors so that they don't smell bad.
So like the new design of the baking soda box.
Yeah, I like that.
You pull open the flap.
Arm & Hammer?
Yeah, on the front of the box, and it's specifically designed for the refrigerator or freezer.
Yeah, it's smart, because normally you had the old Arm & Hammer boxes where you just tore off the top,
right.
And so just that top surface area is exposed to the air. So yeah, they have a much better design now. In fact, I saw another new one. They have kind of a new shaped one.
Well, I like it too because you could put they got a spot now where you put the date that you put it in the refrigerator,
smart.
and
Right.
it lasts for about 30 days. So.
And baking soda you can't beat. Completely safe. It's a natural mineral. You use it.
I'm pretty sure my mom has the same box of baking soda in her refrigerator that's like 2 years old.
Really?
It's just like this hard, solid thing at the back of the refrigerator.
Yeah,
now.
and you should change them like once every 30 days or
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
and that keeps it fresh and allows it to do its job. Because once it binds with some of the stuff, it's not as effective. And you can use this in your shoes, sprinkle a little in your shoes, litter boxes. They use it for cleaning, and it does a nice job. It's funny. I was reading a couple articles about baking soda and how it neutralizes. Reading a couple chemists, and this one guy said that he uses baking soda as part of his scent control system. He's a hunter. He uses baking soda on all his clothes. When he has his special hunting clothes, he puts them in totes, and he puts like his pants, then he'll sprinkle baking soda on top of it, then layer his shirt and sprinkle baking soda, and then whatever, his socks, and then he closes it up on this tote, and that's how he stores it, and then he sprinkles baking soda on his boots. So there you go. That's straight from a hunter saying that baking soda is excellent for neutralizing odors. But then a couple chemists actually said that through some of their research, they feel that baking soda isn't as effective as activated charcoal. And activated charcoal actually does an excellent job because it's so porous. And you're looking for activated charcoal. They impregnate it with oxygen, and the way they process it, it makes it more porous, and so it absorbs more odors, and it's just amazing to see some of this under a microscope, how it's just cavernous. And so when air moves through this, all these odor molecules get locked up and bound inside of this. And what's interesting is NASA uses activated charcoal in the astronaut spacesuits and on the space station to remove pollutants and odor.
So that hunter should really use activated charcoal.
Right, exactly. I always use, we had some charcoal little pouches that we put in our toolbox to absorb moisture, keep our tools from getting rusty.
So is this like Moso?
Yep, right. Well, in fact, one of the chemicals that you can use, or one of the products that you can pick up is that Moso Natural, so it's MOSO. And we met them at one of the hardware shows.
Right.
And very interesting product. They use activated bamboo charcoal, which is nice because it's a renewable resource, and they say it just does an excellent job of pulling odor out, and it'll even do things like formaldehyde, ammonia, benzene, and it pulls out bacteria and different allergens out of the air. And
so basically, if you have other air fresheners in your house,
right, yeah, right. So if you use some of the synthetic air fresheners, this will neutralize it. But the Moso Natural air so it comes in a little pouch and allows air to go through it, and it grabs all these odors. It lasts for about 2 years, once a month. And a few of the articles I read on activated charcoal is they want you to get this out in the sunlight once a month or once every couple of months, and sunlight will reactivate it, so it recharges it. So like these Moso bags, after about 2 years, they just absorb so much that they're just saturated with these particles. So you cut this open and you just pour it out in your garden, and it's actually very beneficial to the soil.
Well, I hope so. I hope you weren't going to put down something that's going to be bad
in your vegetables. There's another product called the Kuro Cube. It's Kuro Cube, and it's made from white charcoal from the Korean oak. This is supposed to last 5 years, and the same way, you need to expose it to sunlight every couple of months to recharge it. And it's all natural. Again, it pulls in the air, it removes toxins and odor, and just makes the air actually smell better.
Interesting.
A product that we carried for years at the hardware store is Freshwave, and it is all natural. They just use a blend of different plant oils and water. Chemically, it does a couple different things to odor. So it evaporates into the air. So their most popular product was that gel. And so as you take the top off and you set it up, it evaporates into the air. The molecules bond with these odor molecules and actually break apart different chemical combinations. So it makes them inert, which is interesting. So we can't smell this as a bad odor. And then with some different types of odor molecules, what happens is because they have a static charge, it clings to them. And so if you can imagine that odor molecule floating in the air, these Freshwave molecules grab onto it, and as it collects a bunch of these, it drags it down to the floor and pulls it out of the air, so we can't smell it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so very cool science behind it. And they have all kinds of different products. They have gels, sprays, candles. They're considered all natural, all safe around kids and pets. And they actually have a pretty interesting website. So on their Freshwave website, they've got an odor guide. So they have a list of different odors and a list of their products. And so you can kind of match up what your problem is around your house with the right product to do the job. And they say that it even works on skunk smell. So if you have something like sprayed with skunk,
right,
and you've got these particles in your house, which kind of linger for a long time, the Freshwave will bond with that and destroy it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's nice. So that's something that's all natural, you can use around the house and feel pretty comfortable with.
Another product that we've used is the air sponge.
It's called Nature's Air Sponge Odor Absorber. And it's cool because it's non-toxic also. It's a soap-based gel, and they blend it with charcoal, so it evaporates into the air and it binds with odor to eliminate it, so it kind of clings to it with tiny charcoal particles.
Well, it comes in this nice container that's vented.
Right.
The top is vented.
Yeah, so it's easy just to open it and lay it around.
So I can remember when we first started carrying it at the hardware store, there was a salesman came in, and he said, yeah, here, I'm going to give you a sample. Just put this in your solvent aisle. So where we carry the paint thinners, mineral spirits, which is the worst smelling aisle in the whole store.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's like, put this here for a day. I'll come back. And
let me know what you think.
Yeah, and
very smart, especially if your product actually works.
Right. Yeah.
What a smart sales pitch.
So then, we carried
it in.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add?
I would say be cautious with the synthetic air fresheners, not to overuse them.
So like the cone-shaped air fresheners?
Sure.
That have like the gel inside.
Right. Yeah, very
that
popular.
shrivel up and die. Right. So my mom uses those in every house or every room in the house.
Okay, so that would be too much.
Yeah. So it's like you get next to it too, and it's like a punch of vanilla. At one point, I bought her Freshwave when we started carrying it.
That's what I was just going to suggest.
She didn't like the smell of it.
Oh, really?
No.
So she doesn't like the all-natural stuff?
Nope. I'm going to smack you in the face and deaden your senses.
Yeah, very good.
But,
so I think it's time for the Moso charcoal.
Yeah. I don't know. If it doesn't smell like vanilla, she's not a fan.
Really? That's funny.
So I guess that wraps up this episode then?
If you'd like to subscribe, you can subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher.
If you enjoyed it,
do you think everybody tunes out, like, right about now?
I do.
You seem tuned out. Actually, speaking of tuned out, you can subscribe now on TuneIn Radio. We're on that now.
If you enjoyed us talking like this, please leave us a review.
You can check out our YouTube videos. We have home improvement.
See, but this is why I sound irritated.
What?
People think that I sound irritated. It's because you're crazy.
So if you want to see some of our home improvement videos, you can check us out at our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement. Wow, I'm really off my game. You can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com.
You could subscribe to the YouTube channel, too. We do it in the same order every time. I'm sure everybody that listens to us knows the order that it goes, except you.
I'd be curious how many people listen to this point.
Yeah.
So email us, fixitpodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.